Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I send the blessings of Allah upon Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So this is the class 3 of our Usul Thalatha, the 3 fundamentals from the Sharh of Sheikh Saleh al-Uthaimeen alayhi rahimahullah. So in the last class, I spoke about the conditions of the person who wants to call to the path of Allah. So I'm going to start from there, inshallah. He said, وَلَا بُدَّ لِهَذِي دَعْوَةِ It is a must in this call, مِنْ عِلْمِ بِشَرِعِيَّةِ اللَّهِ مَنْ عَلِمَ بِشَرِعِيَّةِ اللَّهِ The person should know about the jurisprudence of Allah, the Sharia of Allah, Azza wa Jal, the mighty God. حَتَّى تَكُونَ الدَّعْوَةُ مِنْ عِلْمِ بَصِيرَةٍ and ilmi wa basira. To the extent that the person should call, the call should be related with ilmi basira, the sound knowledge, and basira, the inner reflection of the knowledge, the eye of the heart, that it has the knowledge should be sound knowledge beyond the physical comprehension. لِقَوْلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى Because of the saints of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this verse, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي O Muhammad, tell them this is my path. أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ I'm calling to Allah عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ with sound deep knowledge. أَنَا Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is calling وَمَنْ تَبِعَنِي and those who follow me. وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ Glory be to Allah, all praise to Allah. وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ And I'm not one of the mushrik, I'm not one of the idol worshippers. And the scholar said, وَالْبَصِيرَةَ تَكُونُ فِي مَا يَدْعُ إِلَيْهِ The basira should be found in what it calls to. بِأَنْ يَكُونَ دَاعِيَ عَالِمًا For the person who is calling should be someone who knows. بِالْحِكْمَةِ الشَّرْعِي Who knows the jurisprudence of Sharia. وَفِي كَيْفِيَةِ دَعْوَةِ And how he is going to call. 3 things must be in place. He must be knowledgeable enough to make the call. He must know how he is going to make the call. وَفِي حَالٍ مَدْعُو And where he have to speak. 3 things for anyone who wants to call. Should be knowledgeable. He should know how he's going to make the call. And the state or condition where he's going to make the call. وَمُجَالَةُ دَعْوَةِ كَثِيرَةٍ مِنْهَا He said the ways of calling to Allah, we have so many ways to call to the path of Allah. From it, he said, دَعْوَةُ إِلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى بِالْخِطَابَةِ By speaking, like the one I'm doing right now. By speaking بالخطابة وإلقاء للمحاضرات and by sitting, by having muhadara, like having dawra, having conferences. ومنها from it دعوة إلى الله بالمقالات by recording the one I'm doing right now. ومنها دعوة إلى الله بحلقات العلم and by having حلقات العلم. So if you go to some countries, maybe they'll choose some days in the week, maybe they choose on Fridays or Saturday or Sunday, where all students of knowledge will meet with their teachers. وَمِنْهَا دَعْوَةِ إِلَى اللَّهِ بِتَأْلِيفٍ And from it is the call to part of Allah بِتَأْلِيفٍ by writing books. وَنَشَرَ الدِّينَ عَنْ طَرِيقِ التَّأْلِيفِ And by spreading the knowledge of religion by writing books. وَمِنْهَا دَعْوَةِ إِلَى اللَّهِ فِي الْمَجَالِسِ الْخَاصَةِ And by it, another way is to give da'wah, is to have a one-on-one sitting. So maybe, let's take for instance, happens to be a teacher and I have a student that always come to me. Maybe on daily basis or weekly basis or some specific day of the week. فَإِذَا جَلَسَ الْإِنسَانُ فِي مَجْلِسٍ If a man sits in the place of learning, فِي دَعْوَةٍ Call is being made, مثلا فَهَذَا مَجَالُ دَعْوَةِ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَ This is also a kind of a call to the path of Allah, to glorified. ولكن ينبغي أن تكون على وجه لا ملل فيه ولا إثقال But it is a must that such sitting should be the one that doesn't bring about malal, it doesn't bring about inconveniency, wala ithqalan, and it should be the one that bring about difficulty. So وَيُؤْصِلْ هَذَا بِأَنْ يُعْرِضَ دَاعِيَ مَسْأَلَةُ عِلْمِيَّةً And this can be achieved by the one who is calling to bring about mas'ala, to bring about maybe a kind of interrogation based on what they've learned. على جالسين ثم تبتدي المناقشة Maybe after having 2 sittings, then he can start with munaqasha. Munaqasha is a kind of way of interrogation, having questions and answers. وَمَعْلُومَ أَنَّ الْمُنَاقَشَةَ And it is known that munaqasha, interrogation, وَسُؤَال and question, وَالْجَوَاب and answer, له دور كبير It is a great achievement. في فهم in terms of understanding. في فهم ما أنزل الله in terms of understanding what Allah has revealed. على رسوله upon his prophet. وتفهيمه and to understand it. وقد يكون أكثر فعالية من إلقاء خطابة They say because this has been able to be achieved in so many gatherings of khitaba أو محاضرة or gathering of محاضرة, a specific gathering of sitting إلقاء مرسلا كما هو معلوم. The alqa, where the risala is being delivered of what we know. ودعوة إلى الله عز وجل هي وظيفة الرسل. The da'wah, the call to Allah, the path of Allah, is the way of the Prophet عليه السلام. وطريقة من تبعهم بإحسان, and the path of those who follow them upon this goodness. فإذا عرف الإنسان معبوده, if a man comes to know about his creator ونبيه and his prophet ودينه and his deen ومن الله عليه بالتوفيق, then Allah is giving the gift of tawfiq, of success. لذلك, because فإن عليه السعي, he will be striving every time في إنفاذ إخواني, to help his brother بدعوتهم, by calling them إلى الله, to the path of Allah عز وجل, وليبشر بالخير, and he will be giving them the good news. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said in this narration, يا علي ibn Abi Talib. This narration is related to the Yawm al-Khaybar. So the narration started from somewhere. They do iqta'u, yani there is qati' in this hadith. So there's some part of them removed from this hadith. So the Prophet said to Ali radiallahu anhu in this hadith, he said, انفذوا على رسالك حتى تنزل بصيحتهم ثم ادعوهم إلى الإسلام وأخبر بما يجب عليه من حق الله تعالى فيه فوالله لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك من حمر النعم. He said, continue with your risala, the message you want to deliver. Like, be gentle in the message you intend delivering. Be gentle, like be kind in delivering it, to the extent that they pull down their swords. Then after this, call them to Islam and give them the good news. وَأَخْبَرْهُمْ بِمَا يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِمْ, for what is compulsory upon them مِنْ حَقِّ اللَّهِ. فَوَاللَّهِ, he said by Allah, لِأَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهِ, for Allah to guide, بِكَ رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا, to guide one mankind through you, خير لك من حمر النعم, is better for you than the red camel. متفق على صياته. This hadith is found in Sahih al-Imam al-Bukhari and Sahih Imam Muslim. ويقول فيما رواه مسلم, and it is found in the hadith of Imam Muslim, من دعا إلى هدى, anyone who calls to the path of guidance, كان له من الأجر مثل أجور من تبعه. He said, anyone who calls to the path of kindness, we have the reward of the one who follows him on that path of guidance. لا ينقص ذلك من أجورهم شيئا, and none of the one, the caller and the responder, none of their reward will be deducted. ومن دعا إلى الضلالة, and anyone who calls to the path of misguidance, كان عليه من الإثم, he will have the reward of the sin. مثل آثم من تبعه, it will be just like the example of those who follow him upon this misguidance. لا ينقص ذلك من آثامه شيئا, and nothing will be deducted from their sins. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said فيما روى مسلم أيضا, in what is narrated from Imam Muslim, من دل على خير, anyone who guides towards goodness, فله مثل أجر فاعله, then we have the reward of the one who is upon this goodness. So we move to the next bab, which is as-sabr, patience. The one who is calling to the path of Allah, they need a lot of patience. It says, sabru habas nafsi ala ta'atillah, is to preserve, or let me say, is to discipline yourself, or to stay away from what Allah has forbidden, so as to follow the path of Allah. For ala ta'atillah, so as to follow the commandment of Allah. Wa habathaha an ma'siyatillah, and to refrain from the sins which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to stay with. وَحَبَسَ عَنْ التَّسْخِيطِ مِنْ أَقْدَارِ اللَّهِ, and to refrain from going beyond the boundary by opposing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already destined. فَيَحْبِسُ نَفْسَ عَنْ تَسْخَطْ وَتَجَرُّهُ وَالْمَلَلِ. فَيَحْبِثُ نَفْسَ, to discipline yourself, أَنْ تَسْخَطُ وَتَجَرُّهُ وَالْمَلَلِ, to discipline yourself from complaining too much. وَيَكُونُ دَائِمًا نَشِيطًا فِي دَعْوَةِ إِلَى الدِّينِ اللَّهِ. This is something that you should train yourself upon by calling to the path of Allah. وَإِنْ أَوْدَى, even if you have been hot, if there's difficulty upon you, it is a must for you to have patience. لأن أدية داعين, because pain and difficulty is meant for the one who is calling. إلى الخير, the one who is calling to the path of goodness. من طبيعة البشر, it is from the innate characters of mankind to harm the one who is calling them to the path of truth. إلى من هدى الله, except the one whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intend to guide. قال الله تعالى, Allah the glorified said, the Nabi, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَقَدْ كُذِّبَتْ رُسُلٌ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ, the prophet who came before you, they called them liars. فَصَبَرُوا, but the prophets, they were patient. عَلَى مَا كُذِّبُوا, upon calling them liars. وَأُدُّوا حَتَّى أَتَاهُمْ نَصْرُنَا, and they remain patient till when Allah helped them. وَكُلَّمَا قَوِيَّتْ أَذِيَّ قَرَبَ نَصْرُ, because the more the pain, the more the harm coming from people, then someone should know that the help is very close. وَلَيْسَ النَّصْرُ مُخْتَصًا بِأَنْ يَنْصُرُ الْإِنسَانَ فِي آيَاتِهِ, because the Nasru, it's not only known that someone should be helped in this world. وَيَرَى أَثَرُ دَعْوَتُهُ, and it is not a must for the one who is calling to the path of Allah to see the athar, to see the impact of his call. قَدْ التَّحْقِيقَ بَلْ نَصْرُ يَكُونُ قَدْ التَّحْقِيقَ بَلْ نَصْرُ يَكُونُ وَلَوْ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ. He said it's not a must for him to see the certainty of his call, but rather نصر يكون ولو بعد موتي. Help from the call might come even after his death. So the one who is calling to the path of Allah, just say your own and leave. Allah might guide those people later on. It's a must for you to stay on. بأن يجعل الله في قلوب الخلق قبولا, because Allah is one who used to play in the heart of mankind to accept the truth. لما دعا إليه, whenever is called to the path of truth. وأخذ به وتمسك به فإن هذا يعتبر نصرا. And for him to accept or to hold on to it, this is the reflection of Nasr, of the help. لهذا داعية, to the one who has called, وإن كان ميتا, even if he's dead. فعلى داعية أن يكون صابرا. It is a must for the one who is calling to be patient. على دعوته مستمرا, upon his call to continue. فيها صابرا, it is a فيها صابرا على ما يدعو إليه, to be patient to what is calling upon. من دين الله, from the religion of Allah Azza wa Jal, the glorified. صابر على ما يعترض دعوته, to be patient with the one who turned back his neck upon his call. صابر على ما يعترض هو من الهدى, to be patient upon those who harm him in this path of calling to the path of Allah. وها هم رسل صلوات الله وسلامه, صلوات الله وسلامه, because upon the prophets of Allah, may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon them, alayhim, how udu biqawl, they were armed by sayings. People use far worse, different statement against them. Wa bil fil, and in actions, people arm them with actions. قال الله تعالى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كذلك, it is like this, ما آتى الذين من قبلهم, for those who came before them, من رسول, from the prophet, إلا قالوا, except they used to say to them, ساهر أو مجنون, they used to say they are magicians or they are the mad people. وقال عز وجل, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا من المجرمين. He said he has placed for every prophet, every anbiya, enemies from the mujrimin, from the criminals, the evildoers. ولكن على داعية, it is a must upon the one who is calling, أن يقابل ذلك بالصبر, to accept this with patience. وانظر إلى قول عز وجل, and to look into this, into the word, into the statement of Allah, لرسوله, to his prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ تَنزِيلًا, we are the one who revealed the Quran to you, تنزيلا, in the real revelation. كَانَ مِنَ الْمُنْتَظِرِ, it is from the one who's been helped, أن يقال فشكر نعمة ربك, and you call to say فأشكر نعمة ربك, and to thank Allah. ولكنه عز وجل قال, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فاصبر الحكم ربك, but be patient upon the judgment of your Lord. So كان من المنتظر أن يقال فأشكر. It is said it is from it was from the one who has been helped to be saying and to be thanking Allah, ni'matu rabbika. So what if someone is calling to the path of Allah, he will be saying, oh, I thank Allah. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fasbiru, be patient, li hukmi rabbik, upon the judgment of your Lord. وفي هذا إشارة إلى أن كل من قام بهذا القرآن. He said this is pointing towards that for anyone who is holding onto the Quran, فلا بد أن يناله ما يناله مما يحتاج إلى صبر. It is a must for him to recline to what he needs in terms of patience. وانظر إلى حال النبي, and to look into the condition of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم حين ضربه قومه, when he was being beaten by his people. فأدموه وهو يمسح دمي عن وجهه. Subhanallah. When he was being beaten by his people, and he was rubbing the blood out of his face. When you call, and he said, what does the Prophet ﷺ said in that narration? Allahumma gfiru liqawmi, oh Allah, forgive my people, فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, because they don't know what they are doing. فَعَلَى دَاعِيَ أَنْ يَكُونَ صَابِرًا مُحْتَسِبًا. It is a must for the one who is calling to be patient and to open Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For sabr, he said, he said patient, ثَلَاثَةُ أَقْسَامٍ. It has ثَلَاثَةُ أَقْسَامٌ. It has 3 divisions. صَبْرُ عَلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ, patient upon following the guidance of Allah. صَبْرُ عَلَى مُحَارِمِ اللَّهِ, sabr, the patience to stay away from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made forbidden. Sabr ala aqdarillah, to be patient upon the aqdar, upon the judgment of Allah, upon the destiny. التي يجريها إما مما لا كسب العبادة في لعباد في, from what comes إما مما لا كسب لعباد في وإما ما يجري الله على أيدي بعض العباد, from what happens to him in this act of ibadah, or something that comes to him ala aydi ba'd ibad, from other people, min al-ida, in terms of wal i'tida, in terms of enmity. قوله ودليل أي على هذه مراتب أربعة. قوله تعالى, said the proof upon this dalil, the dalil upon this 4 upon the 4 maratib, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says wal asr. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says wal asr. أقسم الله عز وجل في هذه السورة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swear in this surah. هو الدهر, because it's a time. وهو محال حواديث من خير والشر. It is a time when evil, the good and goodness occurs. فأقسم الله عز وجل, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears به, with it, على أن الإنسان كل إنسان في خسر, because everyone will be in total loss. إلا من اتصف بهذه الصفات أربعة, except those who have these four qualities. Al-Iman, number 1 of these qualities to be saved during this time is Iman, faith. Wal-Amal, and doing good. Wal-Amal Salih. Watawasaw bil-Haq, to advise each other upon goodness. Watawasaw bil-Sabr. Watawasi bil-Sabr, and to advise each other upon patience. قال ابن القيم رحمه الله. Ibn Qayyim, you said, rahimahullah, may Allah be pleased with him, jihadu nafsi arba' maratib. Jihadu nafsi arba'u maratib. He said the jihad, the striving of the heart, of the nafs, of the soul, is divided into 4. Ihdaha. So in this concept of jihad, the scholars, they make, this is not found in this book, but I'm just trying to quote this. They said jihad can be, so they give explanation about jihad to the extent of, they said, let me give an example. They said, اجتهد الفلان على حمل صخرة. This man, in the scholars of manners, they said, if they want to give the definition of jihad to an extent, they said, اجتهد الفلان, اجتهد فلان, the man strived على حمل صخرة, by holding a big stone. واجتهد فلان, and they give another example, a man strive على حمل خردلة, to the extent though by holding mustard seed. So yeah, doesn't mean that it have to be in a very tough way. Sometimes it might come in a very mild way. So the tough part of it is that this is not fine there. If someone hold a big stone, it's jihad, just to the extent. And if someone hold mustard seed in his hand, it's also considered as what? As jihad. So it really means to strive, to make effort, to stay away from sin, to pray, everything is under jihad. Jihad. إحداها أن يجاهدها على تعليم الهدى, to strive with your soul by knowing the guidance. ودين الحق, by knowing the religion of truth. الذي لا فلاح ولا فلاح لها, because the الذي, that which لا فلاح لها ولا سعادة في معاشها ومعادها إلا به. There is no success, there is no safe zone. There's no success. في معاشية in living, ومعادية and in returning back, إلا به, except with what? By striving to know guidance and to know the truth. الثانية أن يجاهدها على العمل, to strive with your art by doing good deeds, به بعد علمه, after knowing, it is a must for you to strive to perform good deeds. الثالثة, the third one, أن يجاهدها على الدعوة إليه, to strive to call to it. So anyone who is learning is a must for you to call. وتعليمه من لم يعلم, وتعليمه ما لم يعلم, and to teach. وتعليمه ما لم يعلم, لا يعلمه, to teach the one who does not know. الرابعة, the fourth one, أن يجاهد على الصبر, to strive with your soul by being patient. على مشاق دعوة, upon the difficulties in this da'wah إلى الله. وهذا and the وهذا الخلق, and the harm that comes from people. ويحتمل ذلك كل الله, and to see like, okay, this is coming from Allah. فإذا استكمل هذه مراتب, if you can complete these 4 maratib, these 4 categories, أربع, صار من ربانيين, they have become from the Rabbani. Rabbani means the senior scholars who used to do marad. They used to do marad. They used to do, how can I put it in English? Rabbaniyin. Rabbaniyin, they are known as the senior scholars. The scholars that used to guide the younger folks to become greater ones in the future. I'm trying to use the right English, but this is what I could remember right now. On that, they said the scholars that used to put people under their tutelage. Yeah. فالله عز وجل, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أقسم بهذه السورة بالعصر على أن كل إنسان فهو خيبة, because every mankind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swear by this surah, because every mankind will be under total loss. مهما كثير ماله, with the lot of their money, وولده, and the lot of children, وعظم قدرتي, even with their strength, وشرفي, and with the وشرف قدر, وعظم قدر, وعظم قدره, even with the might of his even with how big his might is, and his وشرفه, is sharafahu, yani is it bounties, or let me say in terms of his fame. إلا من جميع هذه أوصاف أربعة. إلا من جمع هذه أوصاف أربعة, except the only one who will be in loss is it will be the person who has these 4 qualities. أحدها, the first one, al-Iman. So only the first people will be what? Those who have Iman. ويشتمل كل ما يقرب إلى الله. It encompasses everything that make you close to Allah Ta'ala. من الاعتقاد الصحيح, from the good creed, وعلم النافع, and the beneficial knowledge. الثاني, the second one, العمل الصالح, the good deed, وهو كل قول أو فعل, they are everything that someone says or someone does. يقرب إلى الله, to move closer to Allah. بأن يكون فاعله مخلصا ولمح, لأن فاعله لله, بأن يكون, so that the person who does them, we do everything just for Allah. مخلصا, with a pure intention. والمحمد متبعا, and he is going to be acting based on what the Prophet does. الثالثة, the third one, التواصي بالحق, to advise each other upon goodness. وهو التواصي على فعل الخير, to advise upon goodness. والحث عليه, to encourage each other upon goodness. والترغيب فيه, and to encourage each other. الرابع, the fourth one, تواصي بالصبر, to encourage other upon patience. بأن يوصي بعضهم بعضا, to encourage each and every one another. بالصبر على فعل أوامر الله, to be patient upon following the commandment of Allah. وترك محارم الله, and to leave behind what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram. وتحميل أقدار الله, and to hold upon what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already destined. I mean, to accept what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined. وتحصيب الحق وتعصيب الصبر, to advise each other upon goodness, upon the truth and goodness and patience. يتدمنان لأمر بالمعروف ونهينا المنكر للذين بهما قوام الهمة. He said, if we all upon this and we command goodness and forbid people from doing performing evil actions, illicit actions, this is going to give the ummah quwwah. He said, قوام الأمة is going to قوام الأمة وصالحها is going to give the ummah, the nation of Islam, quwwah, and is going to make it good. ونصرها, and is going to help it. وأصول الشرفة والفضيلة وحصول الشرفة is going to grant them شرفة, يعني a lofty position, and وفضيلة, and it's going to give them a lot of bounties. والفضيلة لا. So they came with this, the scholar came with this higher. كنتم خيرا, he said, you are the best ummatin from all nations. أخرجت للناس, you go out to the people. تأمرون بالمعروف, you command them to do good. وتنهون عن المنكر, and you forbid them from committing evil. وتؤمنون بالله, and you advise them to believe in Allah. تؤمنون, you command you believe in Allah. So just to wrap it up, I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to have some things. If we look into the methods of gaining knowledge, so we have munaqasha, from what the scholar came with in this book, whereby you sit with the scholar teaching you. He has question, you ask question, then this is it. He said, ويحصل هذا بأن يعرض الداعية مسألة علمية على جلسين ثم تبتدي المناقشة، ومعلوم أن المناقشة والسؤال والجواب له دور كبير. So if we are in any setting whereby they didn't give us chance to answer, to ask question, this setting is not beneficial. We have so many people who are callers of Islam today. They said, no, we only give you the lecture, you don't need to ask question. This is not the method of gaining knowledge. Why can't we ask question? Because Islam is a religion of challenge. So we have so many of them. So may Allah save us from this kind of people of innovation, people of misguidance. So it should be a way of, after giving the lecture, there should be room to ask questions. That's why the scholar said, Dawru Kabira. It opens the big door. It's a way of gaining knowledge in a very big way. If you fahamu, in terms of understanding, ma anzalallahu ala rasuli wa tafhimihi, to understand what Allah revealed to His Prophet and to have deep understanding of it. So there should be a way of what? Munaqasha, yani wa mas'alatu ilmiyya, yani all of this should be present. So I would advise, if anyone have question after this class, you can send it in the group. Then inshallah, hopefully I will answer it bi'idhnillah. So I'm going to stop here tonight. So I'll continue from this bi'idhnillah in the next class. Assalamu alaikum.